the anxiety study, like these are larger studies, 485 participants is a good amount. It's on PEMF, applied to the neck. And so what's really cool about this is just the neck. What we're advising people to do and what we're offering is full body. So it's even better, obviously, as you would imagine. So it's influencing the vagus nerve. It's regulating stress and relaxation. It's gently stimulating that nerve. And so it's improving sleep quality and reducing anxiety levels. So those often go together.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Inspired Conversation. As we approach this second half, as we're in the second half of this decade, one thing that I have been saying for quite some time now is that this is the age of healing. Healing is really starting to happen on all levels for many, many people. They see the importance, they go into it on a spiritual level, emotional level, physical level. And so our focus has been to present all ways of healing that are available to us, the revolution in sound, light, and frequency, which now is helping thousands, millions of people all over the world. And I'd love to dive deeper into it with someone who knows what he's talking about, having studied this field for a very long time, an investigative journalist, a filmmaker, and someone whose name and face you've seen many times. Jonathan Otto, it's great to see you again, brother.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be with you, John.
How you doing? You look radiant. Really?
Yeah, well, maybe that's the background. Maybe it's me, but thank you, John. I think that, I'm doing great. And I try to be radiant. I think your wife is a really great case study. I can't wait for people to hear about that. But we need to be radiant because we can get these types of healing modalities that really have such power. And I love that we're kind of giving this lowdown on the proverbial med bed or the much sought after med bed, and making this really real and practical for people. And often, it's very common human logic that you put your time, energy into something that never comes, and tomorrow never comes. The thing that you're waiting for never comes. Meanwhile, something that's right in front of your face is what you're looking for, and if you mirror it up with how it matches the specs or the desired tech, and your family is an example of that with what's just happened here with what we've done with you guys with the PEMF, you start seeing these miraculous results, and that's something really exciting to talk about.
I agree, and I think you touched on something important, the waiting part, which so many people have been waiting for years for, the new quantum financial system or med beds, like you say. And I've literally seen folks that will sit there and eat the greatest junk food and live a very unhealthy lifestyle because they say it doesn't matter because once the med beds are out, I'm going to be like, and I'm like, no, sorry, but no, big no. But then there's a big yes for, the stuff that we have discovered over the years. And before I share a story about Christine, my wife who had one of those once in a lifetime experiences recently, I just want to say how many things there are that people can do no matter what situation they're in to start healing. I know many people think, oh, this is just for the rich, this is just for the wealthy. But healing is something, first off, it starts in prayer, it starts in meditation, realization, awareness, and then you have all the physical stuff, drinking good water, grounding. And we talk about this with other guests and you many times, but recently you sent us a PEMF mat. And, there's one of those things where Christine is usually the first one to jump on this. Like she'll have a feeling this is great. So she laid on it that very first night when it arrived and laid on there for like 20, 30 minutes and just loved how it felt. Like she was on that mat. She said, I can feel it tingle. I feel the vibration. It's beautiful. Goes to bed, wakes up the next morning and says, I've had the best sleep of my life. I slept like a baby. So this is first use, 20, 30 minutes. Tell us a little bit about the technology, if you will, behind it. What's happening? Like, why could that have happened to her on first use? And are there others who have similar experiences?
Oh, that's awesome. By the way, guys, you guys watch John not because he would say anything and do anything because he wants clicks, views, and attention, sales. Like, that's not why you follow him. You follow him because he's honest, trustworthy, reliable. He has a good perspective on things.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. And you can't do that without being honest. So just for the record, John's wife's story, I only heard about that about 5 minutes ago, right? So
yeah,
because this is, you guys got this, for example, like last week. And then, so one, it was awesome news for me. I got really excited. You saw my big smile and then my next question was the one which everyone's going to want to hear this, because you said that was the best sleep of her life. And then my question was, well, was that just the only night's sleep? I didn't gloss over that because, I was happy to hear whatever that was. Was it just the one-off, or did she keep sleeping well?
No, she does. She uses it like that's the last thing she does at night. She lays down, she relaxes. There's a specific program, a specific frequency that is suggested for deeper sleep. And it's like, there's things like storms naturally, but just the body is in a primed state to recover. And I know, and rest. And I noticed that too, when I lay on it at night, it primes the body for rest. It's like, I don't know what the frequency exactly does, but it's so much easier. And I fall asleep easy, but then to stay in this deep sleep and really get those hours that the body needs. So what is happening in the body?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, first answer is only God knows.
Okay. Yeah.
And all of science is us trying to grasp at that 1% of what can be known, and then everything else, that 99% of what is just with God, and we'll maybe we'll get another 1%, or maybe we'll get all the way up to 5% in heaven. But there's always going to be what it says in the book of Job, that your way, actually that's in Psalms, but your ways are past finding out. And in Job, God is having a conversation with Job, it says, is it you that created the heavens and the earth? Like, do you understand all these things? Do you hold the wind in your fist? Do you understand these things, O son of man? And so, so in all humility, I will approach that with, part of the mechanisms are that you're stimulating your body with the earth's frequencies. And so people weren't just trying to invent something new when the evolution of PEMF technology has evolved over the several decades now. It was us, collectively, not my forebears, those that came before, like innovating, just like with red light, which has been 120 years in the making. Both were looking at the Earth's natural patterns, rhythms specifically, and light, with the light therapy. PEMF was specifically with the Earth's rhythms, with the Schumann resonance, which is a rhythm of the earth, and it was stimulating the body with this, so that something that would often be localized, and so they're healing frequencies. And so when you move your joints, you're applying an amount of pressure on that joint that is causing a healing frequency, and so it'll travel somewhat through the body, but largely be localized to those areas. And so as you move the areas of your body, and that's why movement is so good for healing, you're able to help activate health and healing. But what you're doing with PEMF is that you're putting these healing frequencies all through your body, from all through your organs, all through your bones. And it's especially interfacing with your bones. And if you can change the structure or the density of your bones, you can influence calcium uptake, influence oxygen delivery into the body, then you can change a lot of things. So oxygen would be a big part of it. So she and you and your son, you guys are increasing your body's ability to intake oxygen and use that for cellular function. And henceforth then battle inflammation and then help cells get what they need for all cellular function. And so your cells are then operating optimally you wake up feeling amazing. Your body was able to complete all the process it was really trying to do through the night to go through repair and stem cell regeneration. And you basically just put the gas on all of that. You push frequencies in the body that was stimulating all these processes. And then as a result, some of those a lot of these get activated in deep sleep. And if your body's able to help push you into deep sleep, then you're getting the most benefit. And she's going to feel better during the day, which I suppose is the case. You could tell me, she said she slept better, but does she feel better during the day as a result of sleeping better, or as a result of this? Yeah,
of course. And another thing that happened was she had this on and off knee pain. And I will say this, we have a beautiful healing meditation technique that we used. However, I observed it as she used the mat. So the pain would immediately decrease after using the mat. But then if she used the mat at night, especially overnight, there's a big, huge difference in the morning all of a sudden. So then I presume here are the healing frequencies, and then the body gets to do the rest overnight with that. And then, you wake up much, much better. So that was one thing. The other thing that I noticed is some days when I'm in the studio a lot, I don't get to be in my bare feet in the grass. I don't get to ground as much. So then it almost feels like I can compensate when I'm on the mat for like 30 minutes. It feels like I get that similar sensation, at least on an intuitive level. And then the third part is, which I didn't share, and you just mentioned, I told it to you earlier, is our son, he's in his early 20s, and like boys that age are, it's not necessarily, your dad's not necessarily the one you take advice from, or you want to conquer the world on your own. You want to challenge him. So when I say, son, try this out, it's like, yeah, later. This one was different. For whatever reason, he laid on the first night, and he does it every night. Like, he's on the mat every night, which isn't typical for him. It might take him a month sometimes before trying something out that I suggest. So he really likes it. I think recovery, better sleep, most definitely on his part, and he works out a lot. So I think the recovery part really kicks in for him. So, just in a week, that's just all in a week.
Wow.
That's a week now, or maybe 10 days. So it's quite impressive. Really impressive. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that. That's really special. And just case in point there, I've often shared how the cool thing about investing in your health and investing in like cutting edge technology is that it's a one and done, and it's a one size fits all. And you then have something that the whole family is using. And so whether it's you and your family, or there's somebody that you really care about, or a family that you really care about, that was a gift from me to you. Obviously, we do this collaboration and we get the word out there, but you just think about how rewarding that is for me, for anyone just observing this, and how rewarding my career is. And you say, but that's your company, and so that story coming out benefits you or whatever. But it's like, but it's really, at the end of the day, it's just people, and it's just their lives and people's lives being better, and that's what motivates us. And so if you've got people that you really care about, and an amazing gift coming up for Christmas, or simply just hey, look, you guys are so important to me, I'd love to give you this gift. And these are the ways that we really can be a blessing. And because I do this with a lot of the folks close in my life, family members, because with one little thing, you're changing the trajectory, and you're changing everyone's health, and then you're changing their future. And things that would have happened don't happen, like certain diagnoses that would have happened don't happen. Certain more opportunities and livelihood and health span, as well as lifespan, all of these things come together, and it's a more fulfilling life. And again, first of all, put the oxygen mask on yourself and on your family, or your loved one, your partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your animal, right? Yes, you can sit your animal on the PEMF mat. Yes, you can set your animal on or under the red light therapy device. So I just want to bring that up with everyone. This is a great way to really heal and let others around you heal.
And I don't see any contradiction when you say, well, yeah, sure, it helps your company, but there's a reason why this company even exists. There's a reason why you're in it. You could be selling booze. I mean, you could be selling something that is detrimental to people's health, and you would make probably more money.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm the guy that I never bring a bottle of wine to a party. I'll bring the best greens that I know of, right? So it's like,
That's awesome.
this is actually going to do something good for you. But the thinking needs to change. So we, as a society, we were taught to outsource health to institutions and people in white coats, not have the knowledge, but also not have the resources. And I think what the revolution is in healing is people are learning about nature again. They're learning about what they can do. And then you said something that stuck with me. You said with the PEMF mat, it helps your body absorb more oxygen. So statistically speaking, since the introduction of the newest cellular technologies out there, our body's ability has been artificially stifled to absorb oxygen. So we absorb on average less oxygen than we did 10 years ago because of these technologies. So that is a counter and almost overlooked counter mechanism, because if you don't get enough oxygen, it's basically like not getting enough water. You know, it has horrible long-term effects. So what are other studies and what are other fields where people have seen, and we're not giving medical advice, of course, but where people have seen some incredible results?
Yeah. Awesome. Excited to share that. Absolutely. And just case in point, this is interesting when you're thinking about absorbing more oxygen and taking in more oxygen. One thing for people to think of, this is not something that I offer, but mouth taping. You heard much of that, John?
Yeah, of course.
And we could argue that it's like an intervention that's not the most natural because you're artificially, taping your mouth shut. But if you're mouth breathing, then you could structurally change things, and then hopefully with the right things and the right therapies, you would then naturally do nose breathing and not mouth breathing while you're sleeping. So, but to get there and doing it by simply just taping your mouth is not really, a real problem, and it could really help you, right? So we always want to, give practical, tips or research that people can go look into as you're learning, because that may be a very viable solution. People change the structure of their face by doing that, and you could get rid of that double chin that's happened because of the tongue posture, because of the mouth breathing. So lots of really cool things there. But in terms of, John, to answer your question about the studies that are out there and the different ways in which we are using these technologies for certain conditions, for certain function of the body, I think that what I could do is we could have a little look at some of the research that we pulled together, and so we can navigate that and see like some of these key aspects. One of the things that hit me as well was that if you look at the categories, you'll find that, let's imagine that your wife is particularly sensitive to EMFs.
She is quite sensitive. Yeah.
There you go. So this could have been part of the reason why she was able to recorrect that system. And that's one of the things. It's interesting, like it's all partly in the name, PEMF, and then EMF. So one is PEMF, one is the other EMF, and one is a negative form of electromagnetic frequency, and PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic field, so field versus frequency, which overlap. The word field and frequency do overlap. They overlap in the meaning. So they clearly are interfacing in the same realm. One is sending a negative message, and the other is sending a positive message. So just think about that. And these things are all going together, right? So the bone density rebuilding and fracture healing was a randomized controlled trial finding that PEMF therapy significantly improved healing in delayed long bone fractures with union rates of 77.4%. So that's not an issue for everyone. Not everyone here has fractures, but the same therapy that works then for fractures is just making your bones more dense for those that don't have the issue. It's causing oxygenation and of the body and calcium intake of the bones regardless. And so what you'll think about something as being disease, remedial toward disease, is the same thing that is helpful for optimal function. So think in both terms, because then you'll understand, okay, wow, this is really helpful for me. I don't have a bone fracture, but it's going to help with my bones. I have, my body's health is really reliant on my skeleton because that's where my stem cells are being produced. So it's neutralizing harmful EMF exposures, as we mentioned, and that's lowering inflammation by improving blood flow and oxygenation at the tissue level. And this is easing swelling and discomfort linked to chronic conditions. And then the sleep quality and relaxation. So it was close to 70% of PEMF participants no longer had clinically significant insomnia by the end of the treatment. I love that study. How good is that?
That is amazing. Think about this.
Yeah.
Insomnia is one of the most horrible things that people could suffer from, because you know how irritated you get when you don't get enough sleep. Everybody gets irritated. Imagine this being a chronic state of being, like you're constantly under. It's like, wow, that's a powerful thing to experience if you can sleep again.
You got it.
That's incredible.
There's sleep latency and efficiency. So these certain scoring methods that they're using, and so they no longer had clinically significant insomnia, meaning that they were clear. That's a very vague way to, or a very scientific way to say remission, which is amazing. So there's people here that are watching that don't have insomnia, but they do have something that's very close to it, or they're on a spectrum. Deeper the sleep, the better the recovery. This one is a really great one as well for chronic pain, working at a cellular level, neurological level. It's reducing inflammation, improving circulation, modulating pain signals. And the 2024 review in the Journal of Clinical Medicine found that PEMF therapy reduced pain by about 60% in people with osteoarthritis. So that's a chronic autoimmune condition affecting the bones. So, for example, and then how do you get it past 60%? Well, one is typically just longer. These are often short-term studies. Often it was just for a few months. And what happens is, and I'll show some of the studies that show that then after stopping for 1, 3, 6 months, these effects last, which means that if you continue and you're stacking those therapies, you can see those numbers go down significantly. And then you stack in other things. Like if you just took out one food, which would be gluten, out of the diet, specifically wheat, the hybridized chemically mutated, called chemical mutagenesis, taking out that one food would create a lot less inflammation. Now, when you're doing something like PEMF, then instead of the PEMF also countering the toxic wheat gluten intake, it's going purely to just the inflammation that's systemic that you can't control, and you've got a much better effect.
That's fantastic. That's I'm going to let you go on with that. I want to say something, but when I say this video, we had one of our videos deleted.
You and me?
Yeah, you and me. We had one taken down.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what we said, but you could text me right now, like, what do we say, so I don't say that thing.
No, it's okay. I'm going to let you go on. You just said something about here. You had anxiety on there. No, go on, please.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Absolutely. So when you're talking about these mechanisms, these are reasons why people sleep better, reasons why we're going to see some studies on anxiety, depression, and mood disorder, pain. These mechanisms. You have a look at the microcirculation to promote oxygen and nutrient delivery, the cellular repair, regeneration, including interfacing with the mitochondria, but not through the same process as light. And they don't substitute each other. That being said, if you could choose one, like every study I'm going to show are only on PEMF. When I've showed all the studies on red light, they're only on red light in isolation. And hence why, unless something's at 100%, I will always stack the therapies. And even if it was 100%, I would still stack the therapies, because with a single therapy, if it was 100% success, I'd still stack the therapies, because they don't negatively interact. And putting a condition in remission is still different, because then abundant life and incredible cognitive function, that gets into a realm that's then even harder to measure. So you can always improve. Like, yes, you can get better than 100% because often 100% just means that that issue is gone. What I'm doing is, seeking for people to have ultimate wellness. This other aspect here of lymphatic drainage, and light is working with mitochondria. Coming back to that other point, sorry, light is working with mitochondria through electromagnetic waves, which is interesting because pulse electromagnetic field therapy, they're both working through the electromagnetic through electromagnetic signals and frequencies, but one is using light and the other one is using the Earth's frequencies and rhythms that replicate our healing frequencies, and that we're pulsing those through our body at a high voltage that's very gentle. And so you're not feeling you don't feel yourself getting zapped or anything like that, but your body feels the relaxation from it. Yeah. And so
it's I don't know if tingling is the right way to put it, but you can feel the vibration, especially if if you're not distracted doing anything else, you're just laying there really tuning in, a little meditation maybe. It's like a beautiful vibration, a beautiful sensation throughout the body. It's very harmonious. I want to say harmony is the word I'd love to use for this. No matter what program, it's harmony.
I love that. That's beautiful. So lymphatic drainage, accelerating tissue repair and muscles and ligaments and joints. Electromagnetic signaling is equalized, restoring cellular function. Oxidative stress is being resolved. The anxiety study, like these are larger studies, 485 participants is a good amount. It's on PEMF, applied to the neck. And so what's really cool about this is just the neck. What we're advising people to do and what we're offering is full body. So it's even better, obviously, as you would imagine. So it's influencing the vagus nerve. It's regulating stress and relaxation. It's gently stimulating that nerve. And so it's improving sleep quality and reducing anxiety levels. So those often go together. What's making it particularly groundbreaking is that the improvements not only occurred during treatment, but also lasted a week after stopping, and it will show others that longer lasting. And if this therapy was kept up for a longer period of time, then you'd expect that treatment not just to last a week, but more like a month, 2 months, 3 months, even 6 months. And I'll show you other studies that show this, because the changes are longer lasting. So yes, you can go and take that week-long vacation or 2-week-long vacation without typically it resurfacing if you're battling with these conditions, because it's over time a more structural change. And so sarcopenia is an interesting example. Muscle loss that's leading to weakness and slower movement. So it was a 2025 study showing that PEMF helped older adults with sarcopenia, a condition marked by muscle loss and weakness. After 12 sessions, the participants had stronger leg muscles, moved faster and more steadily in walking tests, and reported fewer depressive symptoms. So really cool with sarcopenia, that wasting away of the muscles.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, please. I want feedback. I hate being in a little echo chamber for myself.
No, it's just something that I became aware of years back. Had an interview with a doctor, and he shared with me that people don't know that muscle loss in old people is literally one of the most significant causes of death, and people don't know this. But muscle loss in older folks is such a horrific disease, if you will. And of course, being active and having an active lifestyle and actually doing something. But then, this being such a supportive system, this is more important than people think. Most people only do cardio when they get older, but actually taking care of your muscles is so incredibly important. So I had no idea, but it doesn't surprise me that it helps with that.
Yeah, that's great. Exactly. I see a lot of people only try to address that from the dietary perspective, and it's just one aspect. You definitely want to get enough protein, and for people that are vegetarian, you can get it from plants, and yeah, obviously you can get protein from meat. I err on the plant-based side, but whichever way you can do it. And so some people just make all these arguments against vegetarianism, but it's like, no, you can find it, because you could get it you could get the protein from, whether it's from beans and with rice to make a complete protein, or whether it's from broccoli and some of the cruciferous vegetables, or some of the nuts, or tofu, or so the edamame, or you get it from the meat. But in either context, it's still one aspect. Whereas often people are trying their best and they're eating whichever diet, and they're trying to get adequate protein, whether it's plant-based, whether it's animal-based, or a mixture, but they still are struggling because these processes aren't getting activated in the body. And we do need to overwhelm. When you think about it, the electromagnetic frequencies are working against us. So all the things that we're putting on, all the signals are still struggling. So we want to stack these therapies. You want to do the best you can, whatever you know to do with diet, and you want to get adequate protein. I'm not even saying excessive amounts, but that's generally the response to sarcopenia. But again, if you don't have a system whereby your body's able to balance, then you will often still struggle with these issues. Hence why the folks in this study, that wasn't a dietary change. I would be surprised if even a single person changed their diet, because they're often advised not to change a single thing, because
otherwise the study isn't clean. Yeah,
exactly. And then there would also be, if you see this direct comparison between the two groups, then it's showing that there's a trend, and it's specifically from that, because the placebo group, they could make similar changes if they wanted to, because they had set a personal goal. But both groups are moving in the same line, and both are getting therapeutic benefit.
That's fantastic, man. So you have these bundles that you put together for people, and I know you have a lot of options for people to also save when they purchase, or stretch it out over a period of time. Can you tell people a little bit about that, how they can save? Maybe they want to do a Christmas gift, like you suggested. We're getting closer to that season, and if they order now, will it still be delivered in time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, no problems. You'll definitely get it well before Christmas. But all the more reason to do it now, because as you get close to that season, then folks are going to be then you do often have that issue where people wait a couple months, and then they're in the month of December, and that's probably not going to happen. And then it's no longer a Christmas gift, but it is a start the new year gift, which is not what you were aiming for. But it's still, I would prefer to get a great gift to change my life than to not get one, even if it came a little later.
I agree.
But it's a great time to do it now and get it well in advance. And so that's really smart. So to answer your question there, the links, I know you've got them there underneath the video, and it's a really simple domain, which is my PEMF MAT, which you guys all know what it means, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. Forget the word therapy there. So mypemfmat.com. And there we've got some really great codes for you guys as well. But remember, okay, so this is what's really cool about this, is that you guys learned, hopefully, if you watched some of our previous sessions, we did a lot on red light, and now we're sharing a lot specifically on PEMF. But what's really special about this, and the benefits that John got, was really, we couldn't say that was exclusively PEMF, because the red light blanket, the PEMF blanket, or mat, that he was using, is the one that you're looking at, which is a combination of PEMF, infrared heat, and red light therapy, which you might not have known that, John. Does that?
I did know that.
You did?
I did. Yeah. And the infrared heat, by the way, if you've been to infrared saunas, you know how that feels. It's a different kind of heat.
Yeah.
Because it goes deep in, right into the.
Yeah.
It goes very deep, and it feels different. So yeah, I did know that.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, good. Look, John is very cluey, so of course he will work that out. I'm paying
attention to what you're saying here. I'm on the edge of my seat, like literally.
Well, dude, that's awesome. Well, yeah. Well, you're in a perfect spot. Sometimes there's a lot of people watching this, and their minds are so filled with questions, and my thing is as well. And there's so much that we can go into, but sometimes you just need to try something. It's part of the reason why we have a 60-day money-back guarantee. Literally, you could use this for 60 days, and then return it and say, I don't want it anymore. And then we don't have anything to quiz you or cross-examine you on. You're not standing before a jury like, prove to us this didn't work for you. it may have worked for you, but you've just decided to game the system. We don't have a process in place to stop that. My intention is that we just know that there's enough goodwill that we're creating in the world. But my point being that you can use this, see whether the benefit is there for you, which, I'm sure it will be, and it could absolutely revolutionize your life. And then it can be a game changer, or you simply, got free therapy that would have helped you over the course of 60 days dramatically, that you would have, spent, several $1,000s on just to like hire or rent time in a facility where you're using these things, and you got a free trial that allowed you to get all the benefits. So it's kind of crazy that we're doing that. So, it's got an FDA certification. The 13 different layers are there, like in terms of, so that's where you could see the photon, which is the light layer. You can see the EMF, the low EMF far infrared heating wire layer. So that, you don't have to worry about EMFs at all. PEMF system layer, and then everything in between. So there's the 3 different modalities. And then importantly, that you guys understand that 1 to 30 hertz range is mirroring the Earth's natural electromagnetic rhythm, which is the Schumann resonance. And that's why it's optimizing cellular energy and reducing inflammation, promoting oxygenation, etc. And so this study that was done on early stage knee osteoarthritis, kind of like your wife having pain with her knees, because this condition causes pain, stiffness, and joint damage. So it was 9 sessions, only 1 hour each, only 9, which means that if it was daily, that was only 9 days. The patients received treatment without feeling heat, noise, or discomfort. And here's the amazing thing. Participants who received the PEMF treatment saw a significant drop in pain within 1, 3, and 6 months. And the pain relief continued for up to 6 months without any side effects. And those that got the fake treatment didn't get the same benefit.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that's the 1 to 30 hertz range. So as I'm showing you guys as well, because PEMF is not all created equally, as you could imagine. Just saying the word PEMF is kind of just saying like health food store, right? Or health food. Well, it might not be good. It might be good. PEMF is just a category of technology, but it may not. It does not denote what frequency, the strength, the resonance, what. Because it has to replicate the studies, otherwise the studies are irrelevant. And I always tell people as well, if you know somebody that's got a result on a certain device, then that's really helpful because they've verified that to be true. Otherwise, you really are in the dark. Like you could go and choose something. You don't know anyone that's used that. There's no one that you're listening to that you trust. And that's the amazing thing with having people out there like John and people that you trust and you follow them for different things. And when they say, hey, look, this worked for me, this didn't work for me, then you have some reference point versus zero idea whether it's just really good marketing or what. But this is using a 150 millitesla magnetic strength, which is significantly stronger than other consumer mats. And it's deeper penetration into muscles, promoting faster pain relief, blood circulation. These are the parameters. And this study that took human stem cells, put 150 millitesla magnetic field strength up against the human stem cells. They used both 80 and 150, and both of them showed that this was continuing to grow and thrive over time. But the 150 group showed a clearer trend towards high expression of key healing factors like collagen and vascular endothelial growth factor and bone building proteins. And then VEGF in particular helps create new blood vessels essential for tissue repair and recovery. So these are the reasons why this is all working. And so there's all these amazing things that you go, wow, I'm doing this because I get such a great sleep. But that's like your body's signal basically saying, yeah, we're taking care of you. We're producing new blood vessels while you're sleeping. We're helping repair and create greater density in your bones, and we're taking care, and we're helping you produce more stem cells and helping those stem cells mature. We're taking care of you, and then you get the benefit. Wow, I feel good, but it's really because all these other things are happening. Very scientific, very mechanical. So you're enhancing blood flow, amplifying recovery. This 86 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit is the heat range with the far infrared warmth, which is why you can feel that, and that was associated in clinical studies combining the multi-unit of the PEMF and far infrared and microcurrent, found that patients' recovery from chronic ankle instability and experience quicker rehabilitation, better blood circulation, and enhanced functional strength. And then also together, so wellness research on infrared PEMF mats underscore that PEMF enhances circulation, cell repair, while far infrared provides deep heat and promotes muscle relaxation, pain relief, and detoxification. Together, they create a powerful recovery experience that supports pain relief, improves sleep and stress reduction, and enhance overall wellness. So that's just giving you an idea of the combination of those therapies. And then the radiance there at 180 watts, which is with the light devices, and that is helpful to understand. And then you get some more studies there on 86 participants, 12 sessions. And the results confirm. And then it was showing specifically it significantly reduced pain from the 10 session onward, lasting improvements noted at a 1 month follow-up. And that was for high level knee pain. And again, this is relevant for any area of the body. And that was just one study because it's so common with knee pain. And then just general wellness. And I'll just quickly show you this of what this looks like. And John, you can mention anything if you wanted to.
No, I'm just curious for people to see this. I love how thorough you are that you present the research, because most companies don't. They make claims, but they never back them up. So I really appreciate that, and that these studies are always showing the same patterns, which is healing and success, which is wonderful.
You got it. It's fantastic. And so while you got some really key information on far infrared. And so that's a sauna blanket that's dedicated purely to far infrared, right? So that doesn't have light, doesn't have PEMF, it's far infrared. But it's the only thing like out of that. So that PEMF mat won't get you sweating to that capacity. It won't raise your core body temperature by that same degree, like hitting it up by 1% plus. That will cause the upregulation of the immune system by 30-40%. But the sauna blanket will do that, and it's a really crazy low price to be able to have that type of therapy. And there are studies on far infrared heat therapy reducing the risk of sudden cardiac arrest, so heart attack, by 63%. So regular sauna use on a weekly basis will drop your risk of sudden cardiac arrest by 63%.
That is incredible, specifically in this day and age. Think about yeah,
exactly, because you're pulling out all these toxins through your sweat. Just think about, that's just one category. Think about all the other things that you're doing. That's why it's a therapy that people are using with the big C word, that terminal diagnosis that people get. They're using that autoimmune conditions, the sauna therapy, but then saunas often just out of reach. People don't have space for them. Too expensive, $7,000, $10,000, crazy amount of money. And this just means, and then they often don't get used because they're off in the basement. Whereas here, you got it in the living room, roll it out, roll it away like a workout mat, jump inside it, turn on your favorite show, John Inspired, and get into it.
Thank you. Thank you for the plug.
Oh, bro, of course. You got to get into the Inspired show. So 25% off is a good saving there. And you use the promo code Inspired25. And then on the PEMF mat. And so you can see, again, all the parameters that we just went through with the frequency and the magnetic field strength, which is the 150 millitesla. And then you've got that big saving of 25% off. You got the 3 magnetic field coils, the 24 individual photon lights. And it's perfect for daily use, whether it's once a day, twice a day, or some of the studies are as little as twice a week. And you once a week, you could get tremendous benefit using it once or twice a week, but obviously you'll magnify that benefit if you can simply fit in more time. You can actually be really creative, and you can put this up against the couch and sit on it and turn it on. And so it'll bend around the couch. It doesn't hurt the device in any way. So you really it's hard to think that sitting down could actually be healing you when, normally working out at the gym, really hard things and doing workout routines that might even be a little dangerous for you, or eating a really disgusting smoothie that really does make you want to barf. And then you compare that, not that I'm all about drinking great smoothies, but you could put all these great ingredients and literally barf, even if you're the strongest among us, because curcumin is very strong, with turmeric, and you mix that with something else that's really strong, and then too many strong things. And so healing can be hard when you think about those things, but this is like making healing really easy.
Right? I agree. And actually, I like to use it on the bed. You know, laid in the bed. It's comfy, cozy. I fall asleep sometimes. You know, and a few times now that I've used it at night, I just fall asleep on it and then later roll off and go to bed. So it's and I sort of knew that you could use it. I wasn't sure that you could use it on a chair. So actually, I might do that. I might do a show while I'm on the mat.
Yeah, see if it can wrap around the chair that you're sitting on.
Yeah,
If it's too
I gotta
narrow,
try it.
it won't. But if it's wide enough, it will.
I got definitely got to try it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun for sure. And so then just use that code inspired. As you can see, again, like I mentioned, all the specifications that we listed previously for what to choose in a PMF mat, we've got it. And then we've made it available for like a really no-brainer price. And this is not, it's hard for you to know how big this is, but it's full body, right? So it's designed for you to, whether you're a tall person, a short person, it's generally speaking a full body device, which is covering all the big surface area of the body. And so really simple there. And again, Inspired 25. And then the Duo, which is just the 2 items, but together you've got a combo, which is Inspired 30, which is the code, which is a 30% off saving, which is close to $800. And again, a really great saving. And something that we did that's great is the free shipping. So that doesn't cost you. And then the enjoy now, pay later with PayPal, if you want to break that up into payments. And then Afterpay also have a 3, 6, 12-month plus program that allows you guys to do that. And so, we're excited to share that. We'll keep that available for a little while with you guys there, and to make sure you guys got enough time to get in, but make sure to jump on that before while we've got that discount available for sure.
Yes, please. And also think about it in terms of family investments or even community investments. Maybe maybe you have some close neighbors that you're really close with, and this is something. These things are easily usable among multiple people. For us, it's always a family investment. All these things are, because our kids and our extended family. We're actually going to do a little bit of an in-house study, Jonathan, when my in-laws are coming.
Great.
My father-in-law has a few things that he's been sort of having problems with, physical things, and we're going to see how, we're going to put him on a daily regimen on the mat and see what it does. I'll let you know, definitely. But Jonathan, where can people keep up with you on the socials, on your work? You're always doing movies and documentaries and stuff like that. Where can they find you?
Yeah, awesome. So, John, I would say find me on Instagram. So, Jonathan Otto, just look up my name. You'll see me. I should be the first one to pop up there. It's jono.otto, which is 2 N's, JONNO. But that's great. Facebook, you'll find me under Jonathan Otto and under Health Secret or Health Secrets. And then those would be good, YouTube. And then we've got series like the one that we just aired. And so you can catch a replay on that on Regenesis series, which is like the word Genesis from the Bible and re in front of it. So regenesisseries.com. And so you get free access to a 12-episode documentary series. So complete game changer there. And then other than that is, when you register, watch a documentary series on that page for free, then you also get notifications when we're doing question and answer sessions, helping people, get the best results with their PMF mat, or, whether they're just trying to learn about anything else, like they want to learn about other therapies that we're sharing that people can do from home for free, which we share so much on that. Hence why we're well known for that. And some of them I can't even share on this platform. You notice me stumbling to say certain things because there's some therapies that we can't educate on this platform. Hence why it's really good to get people on through email to advertise those things, which are like free at-home therapies that you can combine to your daily routine.
You were so careful the last time when we spoke about this, and you said it in a completely innocent context. You just said, look this up on the internet. Literally, I couldn't get them to unban the video. Like I tried, and we have channels to Google and nothing worked. So, when something you say is fought that hard, it gives it a lot of validity, actually.
Wow. So, it was on that. Okay, now I know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I'm not going to say that, but they didn't give you
all they need to do is go to Rumble. Yeah, they did. It doesn't matter. They just go to Rumble, watch the whole. We talked about it there. We left it there. But Jonathan, we're always going to find a way to get the word out to the people. Doesn't matter how. We're going to find a way. I appreciate the work that you do. We're going to put all the links in the description. I encourage everyone to go look it up. And those who have already done it and are using it, by the way, we've gotten some fantastic feedback from people really, really enjoying the effects of it. So thank you for everything you do. And I want to tease this next time you come on. I'd love for you to share a little bit about what you're doing sort of off the beaten path when you're doing some anti-trafficking technology stuff and you're working with sort of in the belly of the beast in DC with people to implement some strategies. So I'd love for you to talk about it next time when you come on.
I would love to do that. That's fantastic. Doing a lot of work with Tim Tebow. I was actually with him in Boulder, Colorado last week, and we were working on some major initiatives across the board. We had about 150 folks there with breakthrough technology to aid in various aspects of that fight. So definitely awesome to tease out on that for sure. So that's great. And as well as you guys are like seeking to understand PEMF therapy and red light therapy, and as well, you guys can go to, because we didn't go in as much detail into red light therapy, but you can always go to and I encourage you, go to myredlight.com and check out the red light therapy devices, because that's an incredible adjunct and one that can be done on its own, which you've been doing for a long time now as a result of what we're doing. But you could use red light therapy powerfully, and you use the code INSPIRED. So that one's just INSPIRED at checkout. So really simple. And then And I just wanted to quickly mention as well, if people are, and you might want to just, if that's okay, John, is to share that screen there for a second. But if you're battling autoimmune conditions or the big C, or if you've got loved ones, fibromyalgia, there's a lot of conditions that this has been proven for as being extraordinarily effective. And so you can learn more, because we've got a film on the page, which is mypmfmat.com, and it goes through all of the presentation. But you guys got the keys here. So there's really, to me, the only way you can know if it's going to work for what you're going through or what you're trying to just, the optimal quality of life that you're aiming for, is if you just get to work and you use it, try it, and go for it. Otherwise, it's always, you're always going to wonder, but you have the opportunity to kind of do that without having to line up in a trial and then get put in the placebo group and then find that you didn't get any benefit because you got the fake one. So I wouldn't bother trying to enroll in a clinical trial and waste your time on that. But this kind of gives you some really good, overall understandings there. And like that 12-week, after the treatment for this fibromyalgia study, it was widespread fatigue, widespread pain, and the placebo group didn't get any better, but the other group that got it, less pain, better physical function, and it was a dramatic difference, and the benefits lasted 12 weeks after the therapy ended. So that's a big breakthrough for fibromyalgia, and the same thing goes across the board for the spectrum of autoimmune diseases, because it's working with energy and circulation. It's working with balancing the immune system and reducing chronic inflammation. And then this big C, like when people were using the conventional therapies, they found that it was dealing with the painful mouth sores, helping to turn that around, the skin irritation, the swelling, the nerve pain, the digestive problems. But in the case where they were working out, like, well, is it going to harm all the cells? Is it going to, what's it going to do to the healthy cells? What's it going to do to the big C cells? And in this case, the researchers found that when breast, big C word, cells were exposed to low frequency PMF, it slowed their growth, triggered cell death, pushed them into a state called senescence, where cells stop multiplying but don't die right away. And then the normal healthy cells weren't just unaffected, they actually showed signs of improved health and increased growth. And you'll see the same thing in this study, showing that the bad cells were dying, the good cells were not affected, and they were increased in their cellular viability. So these are the real big clues to understand there. And so I just wanted to give people that hope when you're dealing with these things that are even more like, look, I really don't have much hope. And the rates at which people getting diagnosed with these conditions really makes people feel a lot of fear. And so I get people into the mode of prevention and get people into the mode of education and action taking, because in whatever setting, whether you're battling, and this is the really big key, whether you're battling a really chronic condition, you can't, to me, afford to skip these therapies, because I don't know of anything that works better. And I don't know of anything that's more affordable. Like, you could take a single supplement, and I keep doing the math on this for people, like a $50 supplement for somebody over the course of a year is $500-600. $600 over the course, for a family of 4 like mine, is now $2,400. Now over the course of the next 10 years is $24,000. And now what we're talking about is nothing in comparison, like several $100s or whatever it is. And these are game-changing therapies, and you break it up over the months or the years, it's a couple of cents a session, or several 10-20 cents a session, if that. So these are the things that we get people in the right direction, making great choices and setting the trajectory of their health on track. And so just want to encourage you guys with that.
Fantastic. I love it. I second that. Health is always an investment. Shouldn't be an afterthought. And it's much more expensive when it's an afterthought, by the way. So we sort of think the same way. And like I said earlier, this is a time where we quit outsourcing it. We're bringing it back into our homes. We're bringing it back into our lives, and we're taking care of it ourselves. And so this is just part of it. So this is the MedBed technology that you can actually get today, that you can actually start using today, versus waiting for some miraculous healing machine that might or might never arrive. And just get started today. So Jonathan Otto, thank you so much for joining us again. Always a pleasure, brother. Always great to have you.
Thanks so much, brother. And what I would say to that is, it did arrive, and it has arrived. And God has these healing frequencies here for us. They're here. It's here and now. When people start thinking like that, watch what changes happen. So thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah. Amen to that. And Inspired Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon.